Bitcoin swinging to the upside. In fact, we've been pushing up incredibly for the last, all the way since back here in early 2023. And we have this incredible breakout of a multi-year, all the way back to, look at this, 2021, and then to right all of this resistance, we have broken cleanly out of this, and signs and signals are suggesting that we could even get an 80% pump from here. And I'm going to be breaking that down here in just a few minutes. But beyond that, we also have altcoins, beautiful multiple bull pattern set up for further price action to the upside. We're going to be setting up exactly what that means here in just a second. I don't know why my brain is stuttering right now, but we're going to be diving into this. A lot of charts that are signaling incredible price action breaking to the upside here in just a moment. So everybody hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell. Get active in the live chat right now. Retweet this on your X account. Retweet it from my @Kellam page or the @Academy BitLab. But let's get into it. We're going to be getting going here in just.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me.
What is up, all my compatriots, my crypto compatriots and earthlings everywhere around the world? How you doing today? We're seeing Bitcoin see a little bit of a rise today. I have a little bit of a crash. Is it just going to be a bull trap, or are signs and signals suggesting that we're still going to get the swing to the downside? All signs are pointing to into the midterm, into the end of this year, the later part of this quarter at least, we're going to see some exponential upside coming in this crypto market between Bitcoin and a lot of the altcoins. But what does the data say? Let's not get so fixated on the price that you're seeing right over my shoulder on whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, bittensor, TAO, BNB, XRP, Solana, Ondo, Link. Let's make sure we're looking at the data, not just getting excited or scared based on what the price is doing on a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, even daily chart, because the signs and signals, the fundamentals are suggesting that we have a lot higher to go. And when we look at the data, what are we seeing? First off, let's start with the Bitcoin chart. We see a beautiful structure here with the double top that we saw back in 2021. Followed by that massive, oh my God, it's over, with the cascading failures throughout the market from Luna and Celsius and Voyager and BlockFi. And then ultimately we also saw that FTX collapse right here that marked the bottom. And then this, look at this move. I just want to remind you where we came from and where we're at. Guys, 643% to the upside so far from the bottoming structure that we saw down here at the $16,000 range. And we're sitting here hovering right now just under $120,000, and people are losing their minds wanting it to just continue. Well, when we zoom in on this, what do you notice? If we zoom in just a touch, notice not so long ago, we saw price down here at about $74,000, $74,000 back here about April 7th, which is the date that I called the reversal. I shared it on all my channels here on video, the charts breaking it down, but also breaking it down on my X account over at Kellam and at Academy BitLab. And from this $74,000, the market's over because we're scared. We saw the price actually push up here now over 108 days, $44,000 to the upside. $44,000 to the upside since April 7th. And of course, we went higher than that. We went up about $48,000, but we had a little bit baby pullback, about 60% move. The question is what happens now, because there are signs, there are signals, and there is historic precedent that suggests we could be getting an 80% move from where we're at right now. And if we're at $118,000, what would that mean? Well, I want you to notice something on this chart. We've got basically all these parallel channels that have been roughly about the same, 45 to 50%, 45 to 50%, 45 to 50%, and so on and so forth. So if you extrapolate these out, and this is not the signal, but if you extrapolate these out, the next target is not only $162,000 on this macro inverse head and shoulders, or sorry, midterm inverse head and shoulders that we have here. This is a measurement from the neckline all the way down to the deepest part of the head. You measure this out, that goes right up to about $162,000. But interestingly, these basically very even distributed parallel channels that we've had that has been very consistent in marking where these trends have been, where there's been ranges, where there's been rejections and support, and then rejection and support. The next target up from the inverse head and shoulders that we've seen play out is $162,000, and it perfectly correlates with basically an extrapolation of these parallel channels going out. But beyond this, there's other signs, there's other things in this chart that show exactly, other charts as well, that show that there's very strong likelihood that we're going to be seeing some exponential rises here in the near future. I do want to caution you though, everybody's expecting the rise and they forget a key point. It depends on the time frame you're looking at that you're getting completely enamored by either your hope or your fear. Your emotions are destroying your ability to have profits in this market. So as everybody rolls in here, I do want to say welcome to the show. Welcome to BitLab Academy. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. My name's Kellam. Welcome to the family. Get active in the live chat right now. Excuse me. Get active in the live chat right now. I see all of you, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on Rumble, whether you're watching on X. We've got about 1,000 people in the room. We'll probably have 2,000 or 3,000 by the end of the show. But I want to see you guys get active. I want to see the live chat getting active. I want to interact with all of you a lot more often. I want to see what you guys are interested in seeing. What are you buying? What are you selling? Where do you think? I want to see two things in chat right now. Everybody that's tuned in, get active in the live chat, whatever platform you're on. I see it in one window here. Where do you think price tops? What month? And is it this year or next? And what price point do you think is going to be that local top? Because when you understand where Bitcoin's going, you realize there is no top. There is no top. There's going to be rise, retrace, continuation. There's going to be these sell-offs. There might be 30%, might be 60%. We don't know. But as institutions, governments, corporations, big money players, and just the world opens up their awareness to Bitcoin and starts to realize this is the best opportunity to really catalyze your future into something better than it is today, we are going to see the price increase over the rest of our life. Along with that rise, and along with the price increase, we are going to see dips along the way. We are going to see retraces along the way. And so when we consider where the next top's going to be, realize there's going to be a buying opportunity to follow. So do you think the next sort of major top we're going to see in this market, whether it's a top and sideways action like we saw here back last year, where we saw this peak up here about $74,000. And, you know, I mean, this was not an easy feat for those that are emotional. 230 plus days of sideways action with $20,000 ranges multiple times. I mean, we see this. Look at that. It's about 14,000. That's actually a little more. Look at that. It's about 16,000. And then what do we see from there? We see another pump out of this. Let me pull up the measuring tool. We pumped out of that about 16, 17,000. And then it dipped yet again from that point right down. Look at that, about 19,000. And then the pump up from there. I hate that I have to click the measuring tool every time. Let's see, it's about 17,000 to the upside. Cool. And then, I mean, the point is this has just happened over and over, but this was a top. It was a midterm local top. A lot of people argued this was the top. This was the top of the cycle and it's going to crash back down to 12,000. Ignore that nonsense. The incredible buying pressure that's come into this market and that's coming in on schedule to continue to stack, not trade like you and I. They're stacking like Michael Saylor, where they're buying tops, they're buying midterm resistance and supports and bot. They're just buying. They're stacking in because they don't have plans to sell. They're looking to dollar cost average in over time because there's no way to predict what's going to happen in the future on Bitcoin. There's only ways that you can build your different strategies and basically statistics about what you feel comfortable is leaning towards odds of going up or odds of going down. And if you want to be bold enough to trade those, and including patterns and RSI and stochastics and MACD, all of this is just ingredients that could suggest a move. None of it is guaranteed. But as we're looking at how the things are stacking up right now, I mean, I very heavily think that $162,000 will be a level that we hit. Will it be a top? We'll have to see what the other data points show once we hit this. In fact, I think we can go higher and potentially even come up to that next range up to $258,000. But we're going to have to see how this goes in this market cycle because the world just woke up to crypto. Of course, you and I have known about it. I've been in the market for 10 years. There's been other players that have been in since 2011 that are taking profits, and it's scaring people. They've been in since 2011. They're booking hundreds of millions, if not billions, of dollars in profits. It makes sense. You and I are trying to get that leg up on our future, so we're stacking in now, wondering why. Why are they selling? It's nothing to be scared of. The rotation is at a perfect juncture right now because the big money players that were not big money 2011, 2012, when they got in with tens of dollars, hundreds of dollars. Now they're able to take out tens of millions, hundreds of millions into the billions. The players that are coming in now have hundreds of millions into the billions, actually into the trillions of dollars. What am I talking about? BlackRock, over $11 trillion in their assets under management. Fidelity, about $6 or $7 trillion. We got JP Morgan. We got MasterCard. We got the biggest players on earth, including the United States government, which is on schedule to be stacking in large amounts of buying pressure coming in. And that doesn't include all the other 180 something countries that we have around the world. The world's coming in en masse right now. So it doesn't really matter that these old school players are starting to take some profits. There's some rotation in the players that are involved at the highest levels in the types of wallet addresses that we have here. And remember, money printing is infinite. So the price that Bitcoin can go to is also infinite. So let's make sure we don't get caught in the traps along the way because we see some major things going on right now. In fact, I shared this yesterday. People are seeing on the smallest pullback, Bitcoin is crashing. Bitcoin is crashing. And then you look and you're like, what chart are they looking at? They're looking at the 1 minute chart where you see, oh my God, it's over. And then I took this literally 5 seconds apart. This is a 1 minute chart. This is what that looked like in the 4-hour bullish structure. This is the crash people are talking about. This is not a crash, people. This is a setup within the parameters of a range that a lot of people are looking at that are looking longer term. So for those of you that think this is a crash, you're not going to make it. For those of you that understand, you can zoom out a little bit and say, oh, this is a little bit scary, but is there a setup that's developing? This is for Bitcoin, Ethereum, NVIDIA, Apple, the US dollar, whatever thing you want to chart. Look at the chart you're looking at and then zoom out a time frame or two, or even a bit more macro, and you realize this is only within a larger setup for a better opportunity. Because this is what the degens are feeling. This is what people that have some understanding of this market and strategy realize. They go, oh, okay, people think it's crashing. Cool. Let's get it to go further. And then you look for your opportunity for the reversal somewhere in here. And then the real opportunity is a breakout of this pattern to the next leg up. And the breakout of this 4-hour bullish pattern is actually $136,000. But just remember this feeling and then this wisdom, okay? Because this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like when you're not zoomed out. This is what it feels like for every newcomer. This is why most people fail at trading and investing, because they see the gains over time and they forget about this moment right here. They see the gains over the time and they say, well, this guy made money, that guy made money, so I'm going to jump in. And then what happens is you get a little bit of a market dip, and this is what they're feeling like, man, I might as well sell. God dang. Oh, wait a minute. You zoom out and realize this is the reality of how markets work. You got the scary dip, and then you realize these dips set up the ultimately profitable rip to the upside. This is where we're at right now. And these dips can be sometimes an actual dip in price. Sometimes they're just sideways accumulation with ranges that just chop the living hell out of profits for people that are not paying attention. Shout out to the 1,672 people that are watching right now. Regardless of what platform you're on, if you look down on YouTube below and it shows you got 300 or so, if you look on Twitter, on X, there's probably about 1,200 or so watching. We got people on Rumble. There's people all across through these different things. So we got good vibes to you, says Elfin. Shout out to you. Alexander G. Food is life. Chris Pfaff, Alexander G. Nate 707, K Jam, tweeting, commenting in from X. Shout out to you. Nicholas Perry, Granny's Garden, Ugin Sky. We got a lot of the regular homies here. I see Chris Pfaff says $190,000 for the top. We got Sparrowhawk, $169,000 on October 31st. Okay, we got November, 172,000 to 182,000 says sufficient enough. Let's see, Cleo, or is it Cilio? Silo. I can spell, I can read, I promise. $180,000 by the end of year. Which one of these do you guys agree with? Oh man, I like this one. Aped In says Link, TAO, Ondo for the win. All three coins that I really, really, really like. But yeah, we got a lot of engagement today. So shout out to all you wonderful homies. Okay, let's dive in here because we got some other things we want to look at. So we got the setup that ruins everybody, which is a dip. Oh my God. And the reminder to zoom out and see the larger pattern that you can take advantage of rather than being taken advantage of. Because again, this is what it feels like when you're not zoomed out. The market's over, and then you realize when you zoom out, this sets up the best buying opportunities in the market. So just remember that along the way. And then we got the 80% pump, the rally that can be coming imminently. And what are we seeing? The large Bitcoin speculators are extremely underexposed. Why does this matter? Because this has typically preceded an 80% rally since 2022. And this is where we're seeing this, the very large Bitcoin speculators. This is when this comes down and hits the bottom. Look at this. This came right at the time where we got an 80% pump out of the market cycle bottom. This happened yet again right here where, oh my God, and what was this? This was the ETF rally. And then the ETF got approved, which was bullish. And then what we get, the dip. That scares people because they don't understand that you get rise, retrace, continuation. And what is this? We got it right here. Look, we got the large speculators bottoming out, 80% rally. And then yet again, right in here after this large 7-month accumulation. And then boom, right in here was about when the elections happened. And then boom, the large speculators bottomed out. And then right at this point, we had an 80% rise. And then yet again, look, we've been dancing on the bottom side here. So this is a setup that could suggest an 80% rally from here. It might be 45, might be 60, might be 130. Who knows what it's going to be? But what would be an 80% rally from here? Well, let's measure it from the point right here. 80% would put us right at about, look at that, $213,000. Interestingly, that actually correlates with something that's very key here. Look at this. We got this chart here that I drew. When was this? This was June 11th. And when we zoom in on this, what do you notice? $213,000 is right at the 3.618. So it lines up with the fib, a key fib. It's also in the target zone that we have here. So do these things together mean Bitcoin's going to $212,000? No. It's a suggested target once we get into price discovery, and we've got to be patient and let the market tell us what it's going to do. And we're not going to hit the top, and we're not going to hit the bottom, meaning exactly the buy entry at the exact bottom or the sell at the exact top. All we can do is risk mitigate coming up as the price action has already broken through this line. See, this is 111. We're well clear through this. On our way to our next target, $136,000. On our way to our next target, which is that $160,000, which is not only the fib of the larger move, the 2.618 fib extension from this larger move here. You get the fib extension up into this zone. And then beyond this, that's $158,000. It's also the inverse head and shoulder target out of this that we can see up there. So there's things lining up. $162,000. Actually, I think that fib might be here. Let me see. Yeah, that fib is from this move right here. So the fib out, the extension up here is about $160,000. We also have the parallel channels that we have here that are outlining a very likelihood based on previous ranges. We're seeing a number of things line up with that zone. So let's be a little bit patient as the market develops, but everything's pointing more and more bullish. People are getting sucked in by these 1 minute, 4 minute 4-hour, 1-day, even 3-day pullbacks, but the structures are incredibly bullish. So let's remember that this signal right here, that when this bottoms, we have historically in this cycle so far, each time gotten an 80% pump out of this. Now, again, I am not hanging on to it having to be an 80% pump. The signal here is that once this bottoms, once the largest Bitcoin speculators start to pile in again, and we have retail still yet to really come to flood into the market, this is suggesting that what I'm seeing here isn't the 80% pump, is that we're likely going to get a large move out of this, whether it's 30%, 61.2%, doesn't matter to me. The point here is the indication is that we're going to have a large move to the upside coming. And that points to this. And this is from Thomas Farrer. And what he says is, I think that we're somewhere between hope and optimism. That would put us right firmly between this and this. Well, what does that tell you? If this is a case that we're somewhere between these two pumps, right in this zone, on this market cycle trading cheat sheet, this suggests that we still have that parabolic pump to come, that parabolic exponential increase in price action to come. Well, what have I been talking about? I've been signaling this for some time. In fact, let me kind of back out of this real quick because I have it in my bookmarks from something I did the other day, a chart that I drew not so long ago. This was on, look at this, July 11th. And that is this chart right here. This is a capital flow chart. What do we see? Early cycle, early cycle, early cycle, early cycle. That's the green zones. On each early cycle, we see a relationship to how the capital flow, which is the bottom line here. This is the Bitcoin price in orange, tracking across the screen. And this is the money coming in and the money going out. Well, on early cycles, we see basically a double top M formation here, where the capital flows in up into a certain point and it pulls back near this zero line. And then you get the expansion. Well, look at it again. A double top here on the capital flow comes back to zero line, and then you get the expansion. The capital flow comes back up, goes higher, goes higher, goes higher. What do we see right here? It actually happened over here as well, but after the COVID crash catastrophe, look, double top on the capital, and then back to zero line and expansion. What we get? Expansion. Here we go again. The double top on capital flow up to about the same point. We've retested back down. And now this is coming into what we have historically seen as the parabolic zone. So not only does the data suggest it, the way capital is flowing into the market at different parts of the market cycle suggest it, but we also see just a never-ending flood of, data like this. Large Bitcoin speculators bottoming out, setting up for that next move. We have where we're at on the market cycle cheat sheet suggesting potentially this is all conjecture that maybe we're about right here, which would still indicate the parabolic move. But then we got some other data that shows where we've seen in previous seasons, Q1, Q2, Q3 of each year. Now, this isn't going to be exact, and this is from the Rational Root, but what I want you to point to here is when you're in a bull trend, this is a bull trend. This came down. Look at this. This was a bull trend, rise, retrace, continuation. But what do you see? In Q3, July, this really kicks it off. Okay, this was a bear trend, so we continued the sell-off. This was the accumulation phase. So bull trend, look, kicked off. This was right. Look, a sell-off into Q3, and then boom, move higher. And this is a year after halving. So look at the year after halving. July, Q3, this is that shaded area, parabolic move after. Okay, here we go again. This was after the halving, but this is that accumulation setup. We weren't quite there yet. But this did front run the nice move up. Here we go again. Nice move up. Okay, bear trend doesn't indicate. Now here we go in this cycle, right after the halving. This was just before the large move up. And here we go again with that July up. So this would be similar to this. We had the sell-off kind of rounding out and then the slingshot. Okay, look, we had the sell-off now kind of starting to round out, and then we had the slingshot. So we had the kind of accumulation sell-off here and then rounded out into a nice pump. Are we about to get that slingshot? There's so many different things. Great question right here. I got to pull this up main screen. Are you planning on selling your altcoins at the peak and rolling them into Bitcoin? Absolutely. I'm going to hold some long-term for Link. I'm going to hold some long-term for Ondo and likely TAO, but I'm going to take a substantial portion of those altcoins that I'm playing right now. The Bitcoin is the apex asset globally. Even over every altcoin you hold. I don't care if you like XRP or XLM or Tezos or Algorand. It doesn't matter to me. You can buy and sell and trade whatever you want. I hope you make money. Truthfully, I really do. I hope you also don't only make money on your computer screen. I want you to make money that transforms your life. And in order to do that, you got to rotate profits at some point. Now, am I going to rotate some profits to dollars? You bet your ass I am. Why? Because I don't want to only have money on the computer on the screen. I want to also impact what I'm doing in my life. But I'm also looking at the different financialized products in the crypto ecosystem so that maybe some of the money that I'm taking out of the market is using those financialized products like Morpho, like Aave, like these different DeFi lending protocols that you can borrow from yourself so you can pay it back on your own schedule, so you can manage your money as you see fit and be your own loan shark to yourself. Now, I will be doing some of that. Now, break it down for you guys as we get into that season so we all know how to do it together. This is BitLab Academy, and I want you to get academic here so that you can manage your portfolios in the best way possible. And holding altcoins to infinity just because you have a married bag will not serve you. You will round trip the living hell out of your assets where you're taking screenshots at the top and you're sulking, seeing a therapist at the bottom because why didn't you sell? Now, a lot of my selling of my altcoins is also going to be a rotation of that capital, because the only reason I hold them is because I think that these are going to have an absolute boom season, and I'm going to be able to take advantage of them outpacing the growth of Bitcoin and rotate them into Bitcoin once they peak, and then never selling the Bitcoin. Bitcoin's got to be your bellwether. It's got to be. But we're seeing, let's get back into it because we got some other things. So there's other worries still right now where price isn't moving, but look, ETH is back to 3,700 after it was over when it dipped to 3,500. Guys, everything's setting up because when we look at Bitcoin and the short-term holders supply and profit, what do we see here? A lot of colors, a lot of lines. Great. Pick it apart. Always look at the information. The orange is Bitcoin price. This is all-time highs, all the black dots you see here. Every time it hit a new all-time high. This is a short-term holder profitability. Are you holding in profit or are you holding in a loss? What do you notice about each top? The short-term holder supply and profit has gone quite a bit higher than where we're at right now. In fact, look at 2017. Look how high, look how exponential this went. I mean, just the flood came in. We also saw this back in 2013 and 2014. The point being here is we haven't seen anything that has broken the context of the market cycle so far, suggesting that we've hit a top. This is just, look, healthy price rise to the upside. We've had some short-term holder profits, great, and then they're at a loss. So that's short-term holder profit, but we haven't seen any rise, any break as we see here. Look, this steady move to the upside, or here, this steady pop to the upside, or here, very nice move up way into profits. We have not seen this. We have not seen the flood come in. We've seen a very controlled bull market cycle so far. I want you to hear what I just said. Hear what I just said. Most people are losing money in these markets because they're expecting too much of the market on a time basis. Bitcoin and altcoins or whatever assets you're holding, even stocks, if you're expecting something to happen in a time frame, it typically will break your spirits and break your ability to be profitable. This market, especially with Bitcoin and altcoins, is just now setting up for the super exciting, bullish run to happen. Now, the question everybody needs to ask themselves, are you okay with this not being a blow off top? Are you okay with the price action on this when we're looking at Bitcoin, not just having something like we saw back in 2017, where this is just rips to the upside? Because we're seeing so much controlled big money come in, we're starting to see these very nice moves to the upside that have these longer periods of consolidation. Nice move to the upside, shakeout. It's very explosive move, but then multi-month shakeout, accumulation before the next move. Large rip, sell off, but still bullish structure. Came back to the previous range high. Large rip, but not really, because all this has done is effectively gone to the previous range highs. But now we're getting that move here. I think very wholeheartedly that we're going to be getting these moves, and that it comes up and chops and comes up and then sells off and then comes up and chops. This is going to be a controlled cycle until we get other catastrophic news for the bears, such as major integrations with Google and Amazon, the strategic Bitcoin reserve from the United States actually getting bought, the schedule laid out and what they're going to be doing, or the acknowledgement, hey guys, we actually have been buying, because that very well could happen. They may tell us in the US after they've already been buying, because if they tell everybody this is a schedule to buy, that also creates a market force of buying pressure coming in that raises the price that the US will get in on. Same thing with Amazon, same thing with Google, same thing with many large corporations. I expect there to be some October surprises in the markets where it's like, oh my God, because we're corporations will likely see it once the quarterly earning reports come out. Okay. There's a lot that's going to be developing over this next many years. Do not get sidetracked by the dips along the way. They are ultimately overwhelmingly good buying opportunities. So let's continue on, because we got some more things to cover. And like this, check it out. Bitcoin treasury companies stacking in ways that you cannot even comprehend. Look at this data, the treasury company count. Look at this back here. I mean, this is way sub 20. This is, probably like 3 or 4, and just absolute like slow burn. Oh, look, a little pop here, but it wasn't until into this cycle, especially right about right here, where we started getting ETFs. This is a shift in trend where this all of a sudden goes exponential. All of a sudden, right here, we had the, back in this zone on this pop here, we had BlackRock put in an ETF application. Okay. This is when you start seeing the run up here, because BlackRock had only ever had one ETF application denied. So you start getting the rubber stamp of approval from the largest financial institution on earth. And what do you see? You see a quick little pop up here, especially on approval. And then boom, on this move, you see this parabola form from, about 3 to now 145 companies having treasuries. First up, guys, I mean, this is setting up. This is, you guys realize how many publicly traded companies there are? I'm not expecting 14,000 publicly traded companies in the next year to have Bitcoin treasuries. But the fact that we've gone from sub 5 to over basically right about 150 is astronomical. But this isn't the only chart. We also see this, the treasury buyers per day. This is the average count of companies in the world that are buying Bitcoin every day. In the last 6 weeks, it's taken off. We're seeing the exponential awareness come to Bitcoin on the global stage, but specifically when we see major players, publicly traded companies that also hit headlines when they're basically acknowledging a Bitcoin treasury and buying, not only doing that, but also buying daily. Look at this absolute rippage. And people think we're at a top. Guys, gals, friends, countrymen, this is only just beginning. I mean, there's so much positive data here. I don't want to break down every single one of these. The point here is this is all just getting started. Now, what are we going to do about altcoins? Are the altcoins actually bullish? Is it actually going to have an alt season? Is the move we're experiencing right now actually an alt season at all? Well, I got some super bullish news for you. Look at this pattern. There are multiple bullish setups in here. This is ultimately frustrating for a lot of people, but the people that are the most patient tend to get and take advantage of the most profits. So in this massive, I mean, look at this beautiful structure. What we see is a cup and handle where you have this rounding bottom and then the handle here within a giant symmetrical triangle. Okay. And now we have the breakout of the cup and handle and the breakout of the symmetrical triangle. Okay. Beautiful. But it comes back. It's over, right? This was that mini run we saw at the end of this last year. This was that run that we saw into March of last year. It really did feel like a little mini alt season. This felt like a mini alt season, but both got cut short. Well, I'm here to tell you, this is telling me these multiple bullish signals on this chart. This is the total crypto market cap. This is telling me that the alt season has not even taken place yet, which means this little run up that was very profitable for a lot of people that took profits, but sucked for people that rode this up and then round tripped it. And then again, rode it up and round tripped it again. Well, this is telling me the next move is going to be exponentially larger because we have multiple bullish setups on this one pattern right here that has multiple patterns within it, suggesting on this retest that we're about to have an exponential upside coming. Boom season is here, everybody. And it's not just that. We also see active loans on Ethereum lending protocols has gone up 10x. What do you mean, Kelly? It hit 30 billion. It's only up 27 billion since January. Well, what's 30 minus 27? That's 3. What's 3 times 10? 30. There has been a 10x in Ethereum lending since January of 2023. And it's just getting started. It's these types of things that really substantiate in the entrenchedness of Ethereum within the crypto ecosystem and what's to come, everybody. Understand this. Understand as corporations are starting to grow aware of DeFi and Ethereum and stablecoins from the Genius Act, from the Clarity Act, from all of this discourse that's happening on a daily basis on all the financial talk shows, on the world stage and the government, all of this. And now people are realizing, okay, well, if stablecoins are going to essentially be the new payment rails of the future, think about how much money is transacted daily within banks, within corporations, cross-border. I mean, there's so much here. Now we're seeing banks become aware of this, corporations become aware of this. They're also going to want a stake in these new payment rails, especially banks and different payment providers, if they're going to be also using stablecoins. Well, if that's the case, now they're also becoming aware of staking. They're becoming aware that, wait a minute, I can take, my corporation can buy assets, invest them, stake them, and then also be able to take loans from our own, basically, assets under management, without having the predatory lending that banks have, without being beholden to somebody else. Guys, we're about to see an explosion in the DeFi sector, in the AI sector, in the stablecoin sector, and figure out kind of where those stablecoin rails are going to be, because we're also seeing this wake up in the charts, weighing Ethereum against Bitcoin. First time in over a year, Ethereum spot volume is greater than Bitcoin. Last week, Ethereum spot trading hit 25.7 billion versus Bitcoin's 24.4 billion. Now, of course, this isn't a substantial difference, but you have to understand something. You have to understand that Bitcoin is much larger than Ethereum. You see, Bitcoin is sitting here at $2.371 trillion. So over $2.3 trillion. Ethereum is only under 500 billion. So the fact that you come back over here, where's it at? The fact that you come back over here and you have Bitcoin being exponentially larger than Ethereum, but Ethereum spot trading is now eclipsing Bitcoin's. This carries more weight than you even realize. This is very bullish, an indication about what's to come. And then we see open interest in the top altcoins almost doubling since June, with ETH almost going vertical. Okay, volatility ahead or alt season? Well, I beg you to choose, my friend. The truth is it's going to be both. We're going to have a lot of volatility ahead, and we're also going to be seeing alt season. The question is, are you stacked into the right coins? Because not every coin is going to benefit this cycle. There's so many orders of magnitude exponential number of coin options out there and competing narratives and this and that. You got to kind of start to look, and I've been talking about it, about these coins that have a very high likelihood of strong venture capital funding, of strong corporate buying pressure and integrations, of coins that also are generating profit and revenue and have high active addresses. You can check all that over here if you go to defilama.com. It's a free website. This is a free tool. You can go through and look at these different things. Go to chains. Come over here. For instance, go to Ethereum. And then you can scroll down and look at, like, for instance, let's look at Aave. You can look at Aave, and then on Aave, you can see some of the key things that have happened along the way. But then you can also come over here and look at different things like fees and revenue as it relates to, the actual TVL and all the different things on here. And I'll do a video for you guys, the way you can use this data to help front run when things are changing on an asset before you see it in the price action. That's one of the ways I caught a major move in Ethereum, in Chainlink last year. I think it was, yeah, where's my Chainlink? I have the wrong list up. That's why. Let's go here, 2024. There we go. If you come over here and look at Link, Link was sitting sideways for 580 days or something like that. Let me double click here. Okay, there we go. This period right here. And before this move happened, before this move broke out, 540 days. Before this move broke out, I saw in DeFi Llama that there was a huge increase in fees and active addresses, suggesting something was brewing. And then all of a sudden, boom, we got the pop out of that. So it was the fundamental data outside of looking at the price that gave me the signal to buy that made me be able to profit on the price. When you're just looking at the price, you get wrecked. This is nothing without looking at the data, without looking at the patterns, without looking. I mean, look at this on the weekly. This is beautiful. Look at this. Negative money flow. It comes back up. It's crossing the zero line. The RSI came down, and now W formation on the RSI. It broke back above this 50 line, above the 50 line, especially on these larger time frames. Means that there's more strength than weakness. This is more weakness when it's below it. So this is broken back above. Now I'm expecting it wouldn't hurt my feelings. In fact, it would be normal for RSI to come back and test now down into the 52s, 51. I'm looking at the number on the right here. If you're wondering how I'm calling the numbers out, if this pulls back and touches that, fine. And the money flow is coming up. This is suggesting we're going to do exactly as I have drawn here. I've had it drawn here for some time. The run up into 21, 22, a little bit of either consolidation sideways or pullback, and then the continuation up to 37, and then up to 54, and then golly, the conservative zone up here into 86 to 90s, and then the safe. I think this is very safe, 190 to 230, this zone, and then potentially even up here. And I'm talking about this cycle, not long time into the future. I'm talking, I mean, these areas, which I drew out months ago, I think are still very much in play. So let's continue on because we got other things. We got the active loans. We got open interest on top altcoins, meaning people are really getting their vision sucked into this. But then Ondo, Jay changed with this great post, says, rumor has it Ondo Global Markets launching real soon, like real soon. Wink, wink, wink. Well, OKX, BitGet, Mexi, and BNB Chain, 4 global leaders with the giant presence in APAC. They will play a key role in the launch of Ondo Global Markets. Now, what is Ondo Global Markets? Ondo Global Markets, remember, Ondo is all about tokenizing major assets like U.S. Treasuries, which they already have billions of dollars in U.S. Treasuries tokenized on chain. They're also partnered and working with BlackRock and Wisdom Tree and MasterCard and Chainlink. They are so integrated across the board. And beyond that, what they want to do is they want to tokenize up to like 1,000 different securities and tradable assets and bonds and all these things and put them on a global marketplace. But Kelly, what are you talking about? Aren't these things already able to be traded? Yes, in very obscure, random ways, but the U.S. stock market is available to the U.S. The London stock market is available to those in London. The Australian stock market is available to those, and so on and so forth. So what we're seeing now is the start of the globalization of key assets. And it's not going to be every asset. There's going to be regulation and different things and stuff like that that's going to happen. And all that has to be hammered out. But Ondo's got a front row seat because they're tied in with one of the largest asset manager in history, BlackRock, and their BITL fund. So once we see that happen, that's why initially I talked about it and I share with you guys what I'm doing. I was holding quite a bit of Ondo. I sold it all, about a month and a half ago. I told you guys about it. And I was like, oh, I'm feeling partially because I wanted to focus in to certain assets. And I was like, I started to feel, and we all get clouded by noise. I started to feel like, man, it's starting to become a competitive marketplace because you had Kraken and Injective and Bybit starting doing tokenized different stocks and, main key tech stocks and stuff. I was like, I feel like this is going to take the wind out of the sails for Ondo. But then I continued my due diligence and started realizing that, no, what they're doing is a bit different because they are tied in with BlackRock. They're tied in with Wisdom Tree. They're tied in with McKinsey. They're tied in with MasterCard. They're tied in with, the list is Solana. They're tied in with so many major players out there. And on the stock side, they are actively, and they have the right players on their team in place and the right partners actively working to deploy some of the largest assets in the world onto global markets, not just this specific exchange, not just this specific synthetic asset that's also trade. No, this. So I layered back in. What was it, about a week and a half ago? I told you guys about it, and yeah, I mean, I couldn't be more excited to see what they're doing. I'm not sponsored by them, and nothing like that. I just really like the asset. Food for Life says BTCD, the dominance, is rejecting from 62% level, is a very bullish for alts as well. Let's look at BTC.D. Look at D. All right, here we go. What do we got? We talked about this. We've been charting it for some time. And let's go ahead and look at what I drew. Okay, we got the trend line. It broke down from the trend line, as you can see right here. Broke down. This started feeling good. And what I've drawn for some time is on the breakdown, at some point, we're going to get a bounce. There's no telling when that bounce was going to come. So in this case, we're getting it a little bit lower than I expected. So let's do it just like that. So we're getting a little bit of a bounce here, a cooling period, because what do you have in every market? Every market: rise, retrace, continuation, or fall, dead cat bounce, continuation, right? And every market. In fact, I shared that on this chart right here. When I retweeted this, always remember Bitcoin, crypto, altcoins, your favorite stocks, any tradable asset. Bull trends always have a rise, a retrace, and a continuation. Most lose their minds. They lose their money in markets because they get chopped out. They chop out themselves in the retrace. This is what it feels like when you're, oh my God, it's over. And then you zoom out and realize, oh, that was just a setup for higher prices. Do not mess this up because you're getting emotional in regular market activity. And for bear trends, the same thing is true. You can invert this. You have the fall in price action. In this case, look at this. Okay, you have the fall, and then you have the sort of support, and then the continuation. If you look at this on Bitcoin, same thing. That was Bitcoin dominance. Look, you have the fall, little bounce, continuation, little bounce, continuation, little bounce, continuation, until you have the reversal structure. And then you have the rise, retrace, continuation, retrace, continuation, retrace, continuation, retrace. Do not get chopped out in the retraces, guys, but the Bitcoin dominance is signaling. This is incredible so far. The drop down here, we're getting a little bit of a bounce. That's the weekly. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. We are down to 61.2%, 61.7%. So we got the fall, little retrace, continuation. Now we're bouncing here, pretty strong bounce. If this does ultimately have this as the local high here, and this comes back down, maybe we chop here a little bit. But if this is a real alt season, if this loses this key level that I have marked out here, is right about 60%. If this continues to fall and loses this, and we get a major bleed out of the Bitcoin dominance, that also coincide with your alts absolutely wrangling profits to the upside. And we're seeing this on the others chart too. Let's come over here. We got a massive breakout on the others, everything outside of the top 10 of coin market cap. So this, eliminate the top 10 and look at, add up all of the market caps of every other coin out there. That's what we're looking at. And the rise and fall in those, right? And so what we see, the breakout, great. We're getting a retrace. But what did we just talk about? We get rise, retrace, continuation, retrace, continuation, retrace. Now this is looking like a little midterm reversal because we have a double top here. So we may get a small downturn on those alts. Okay, down, little bounce. I think we might get another leg down, which wouldn't be the end of the world. It will be a buying opportunity in this bull trend. If this is able to hold itself here and push up, we'd like to see this break past this level here, which I mean would ultimately just basically send everything to the moon. But guys, that's all I got in today's show. I love you. I appreciate you. Super chat here. I missed it. Let me see. Super chat $1.99 said Hulk Hogan died. Wait a minute. Is this the truth? Hulk Hogan died. Is this really true? Is this true? Holy moly. This is so sad to see. Shout out also Ozzy Osbourne last week or earlier. Was it earlier this week? Hulk Hogan. Man, he's younger than my dad. That is so sad to see. It's sad to lose anybody. People in these conflicts globally, Again, regardless of what side of the conflict you believe in, it's sad any innocent people die anywhere. It's sad when legends die. It makes you check in with your own mortality. And remember, why are we doing this in this market? Remember, this is not about just making money, guys. If you're doing it just to make money, you are lost as an individual. You have not asked the real why. What matters to you in your life? What matters to the people in your life? What matters to how you spend your time? What matters to how you impact others? What matters to your heart and your gratitude and guys, this is why I'm in it. Am I making money? Yeah, a hell of a lot of money. But I'm doing it, one, also with BitLab Academy, helping people along the way because I want you all to make money too. But the money isn't the purpose. The money is a tool for every other aspect of your life. This is but one component, a major component that can make every other aspect of your life easier, but it won't fix anything. Money will not fix anything for you. If your life is rough now, your life is going to be rough when you have $1 million or $10 million. You need to get your life in balance. Eat a little better, do a few more sit-ups, walk, park a little further so you don't have to be parked right up front. And you could do everything to make sure your health is okay. Okay. Make sure that you are able-bodied, as able-bodied as you can be. I'm a disabled military veteran. I broke 22 bones. I've had 85 surgeries. Okay. I had 2 different accidents that nearly took me out, but they're the best thing that ever happened to me because it made me recenter myself and realize even now where I'm going to make a hell of a lot of money in this market. In the market, not from you guys, in the market. I could be a multi-deca 10 to 20 millionaire if I took all the paid shills that are offered to me. I don't do that nonsense. I'm here. When you guys give a $1.99 super chat, I'm thrilled. You guys help. I mean, because it costs money to do this. I'm outside of doing my trading. I'm outside of doing my stuff. I'm outside of spending time with my family. I'm doing this because I committed to making sure I could help others. So when you guys also become a member of the channel or join Discover Investments Group in the Discord where we're sharing our trade, yes, there's some money that's made off of that, but I tell you right now, it is eclipsed by how much time and effort and energy that we all put in to do this. I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to make sure that you remember this isn't just about money. It's about making sure that if you make money, how are you going to spend it? Are you going to help your sister? Are you going to help your brother? Are you going to help a friend or two? Are you going to just be a miser and have a bunch of money and wear a gold chain and put a Gucci suit on and lean on Lambo and end up in a institution? That's what I don't want for you guys. I want you all to be healthy, happy, and well-centered and feeling grateful. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Let's keep that gratitude beating in our heart. Satoshi, it's all for, he brought it to all of us. So let's make sure we can give back to the world. That's all I got. Adios. Thank you for the super chat. Bye-bye. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Now that's an old school throwback. Who remembers?